Ben, Raoul, thank you so much for joining me today. So a new BCG report, Innovation for Impact, Unlocking the Potential of the UK's Healthcare Ecosystem, looks at how the UK can use its world-leading research and development to improve outcomes for patients and deliver stronger economic growth. Raoul, could you please give us a bit of a sense of some of the findings from the report?
Sure, thanks Francesca. So we know the UK has some of the best universities and research institutes in the world, but when it comes to translating this R&D excellence into improved patient outcomes or economic growth, the UK doesn't deliver as effectively as some of our peers. So currently the healthcare sector is expected to add around £102 billion to the UK economy by 2030 and account for around 3% of the global market. But right now we think we're leaving huge value on the table. Our research shows that if the UK was able to translate its R&D excellence into commercial and clinical success on par with countries like Denmark and the US, we'd be able to add a further 78 billion to the UK economy by 2030. So that's a 76% uplift, a huge uplift, and has a meaningful impact on productivity, growth and investment across the economy, as well as improving outcomes for patients.
Great, so the opportunity is really clear, but the report also highlights some of the obstacles the sector's facing. Can you give us a bit of a sense of what some of these are, Ben?
Sure. We've identified 4 key systemic barriers for healthcare innovation in the UK. Firstly, around our workforce. We have a limitation on both capability and capacity. For example, there's been a 40% drop in our non-consultant clinical academic workforce over the last 10 years. Secondly, data. So there's an issue both around access to data and the inconsistency of the data we have within the system at the moment, which is the lifeblood for many of the innovations that we need. Thirdly, there are issues around collaborations and partnerships within the UK. We're going to need to work both across public and private sector to work this together. But it's very difficult for them to actually find access points and then to scale. And then fourthly, and probably most importantly, when we look at the regulatory environment, it actually inhibits growth here by finding it hard to get into the market, but then particularly for that to be then taken to scale.
And Raoul, given that we know healthcare innovation already plays a really important role in the UK economy, what is the potential economic impact from addressing some of these barriers?
Well, this is something we try to get to the heart of with our new research, and as Ben says, it could be transformational. So we looked at 4 high burden conditions, cardiometabolic diseases, cancer, mental health and musculoskeletal disorders. And currently together, these cost the NHS around 70 billion every year. And they also impact productivity across the workforce, with people being out of work sick and having reduced capacity to work. Right now, there are innovations that can make a difference in these 4 areas, but are not being scaled and rolled out across the UK for a number of reasons that Ben already mentioned. And we think if you can start to address this and scale some of these innovations, you can unlock around 17 billion in additional productivity annually for the UK economy. You could also save the NHS around 3 billion per year in treatment costs. So it could really make a transformational impact in terms of improving patient outcomes, improving economic growth, and obviously helping the NHS save money.
So a huge opportunity, and the report also gives a vision for how we can deliver some of this change. Ben, what's needed for the UK to really deliver on its potential?
Well, as we look globally at what some of the best practices are and then applied them into the UK, we had identified 3 areas that are of particular interest which could transform things. Firstly, if we can establish the UK as an innovation platform through a clear strategy that gives people clear pathways on how to access and deliver, and build our workforce and sort out our data issues. Secondly, there's a real opportunity to build collaborations and industry partnerships in a different way through focused innovation hubs where they are supported and enabled to deliver. And thirdly, I think around incentivizing all of that through tax credits, through clear IP frameworks, and through accelerated regulatory pathways. If we could do that, we could really deliver value for both our patients and our NHS.
Ben, Raoul, thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to read the full report, it's available on bcg.com.